Oh, hello Leaderboard! It is time for the reveal video. How is everybody doing? David here from Rabbit Hole Roasters for the reveal video about the coffee that we gave Leaderboard for season 2. So we have a lot of emerging origin at Rabbit Hole in general, and it's something that we've been exploring since we started the company because we like to encourage newer origin that maybe have a little bit less access to some specialty coffee markets. And we also think that they're just really fun and slightly different profiles. And it's always nice to taste different things. So if you've been following us for just a little bit, you will probably know that one of the emerging origin that we've been working with for a while is China. So we have 2 coffees from China right now on our menu. One is a natural and one is a washed coffee. And they are both from the Catimor varietal. So it's one of those 2 coffees. But which one was it? It was our staple. So it was the Keku coffee from the Menglian region. And this coffee, even though it comes from an emerging origin, it really has a more classic vibe if you compare to this coffee from the Weiban region that's a bit more eclectic, really fruity and really wild. In specialty coffee, Catimor is not a revered varietal by any means, and it gets a little bit of a bad reputation because it's blended with some Timor hybrid, which is descendant from some of the Robusta genetics that we don't really like that much in general in specialty coffee. But the difference between the Catimor that are growing in Yunnan and the one that were tested, let's just say, in Central America are pretty big in terms of cup quality. So one of the problems when they try to plant a lot of Catimor in Central America is that the weather is not that nice to grow that specific varietal, right? So it's extremely hot during the day and it's still really hot at night when the cherries are maturing on the trees. So it can be as hot as 35, 38 during the day, even in the mountains, maybe a little bit cooler sometimes. And at night it can be still 25, 26 degrees. Which means that the coffee is going to ripen pretty fast on those trees because of the high heat. And for Catimor, it's really important that the coffee stays a bit longer on the trees and then enters Yunnan. In Yunnan, you can have very nice weather during the day, let's say 26 to 28, 30 degrees, but at night it can get as cool as 4, 5, and 6 degrees, which means that on average, it'll take about a month extra for those Catimor cherries to become ripen up for picking. And what this extra month is doing with the coffee basically is giving it an extreme amount of sweetness and of body as well. So these 2 things are always very nice to have in a cup of coffee, and that is why we kind of like this varietal for the Yunnan production. Other things that are very nice for the farmers about this varietal is that it's disease resistant, it is extremely high yield as well. So even if sometimes it gets a bad rep, we think it's important that we allow those farmers to farm those varietals that are going to be more beneficial for them specifically, especially in terms of yield per trees. And when it comes to the Keku, the Catimor varietal, though, I will say this, it's not the varietal that cups the best in general. So whenever I cup a Catimor coffee, if I know there's something there, I'm always going to brew it as well. So I think that you had enough coffee to cup the coffee and also brew it afterwards. And it's always, at least before I make a buying decision, when it comes to a varietal like that, it's always important to brew it because it cups quite nicely, but it brews even better. So on the cupping table, yes, you might have had some herbal notes. It's possible you had some like kind of oolong tea vibes as well, and still nice body, lots of sweetness that can remind you of caramel or maple syrup or some sort of dark honey. And then the fruity side of the coffee on the cupping table is not always super pronounced. But when you brew it though, and you get rid of this sometime woody or this sometime herbal component of the Catimor, it becomes super round. The cherries and the stone fruits, they're gonna pop a lot more, and the sweetness is even nicer when you brew the coffee, and you can have this type of like higher extractions. So overall, we absolutely love the wash coffee, the Catimor varietal coming out of Yunnan, of the Menglian region in Yunnan right now. And we really hope that you had fun brewing this emerging origin. So that's pretty much it for us. So thanks for playing the game, and don't forget, it's important to support those emerging origin and farmers. Bye.